welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited today. I have a different backdrop, different kind of vibe, different kind of energy because I'm visiting with my parents in Dallas, Texas. And so I'm having a really great time. I decided to come with the kids on a road trip with them from Los Angeles back to Dallas so that we could get a little, change of environment since we've been on lockdown for so long, doing COVID homeschool and staying at home. So it was a pretty good car ride, all things considered. We got here in 2 days. I think it's a total of about 23-ish hours. So we slept over in El Paso the first night and came the rest of the way in the next day. Good morning everybody. It is 6:39 in the morning, sunny Southern California. The fun has just started because Grandpa Nana has put on the sunglasses and we are headed out to Texas. So I wanted to do something that's a little bit different today. I kind of wanted to do a story time and talk about something that a lot of people have asked me about over the past year, which was planning my sister's surprise wedding. Yes, you heard that right. I planned my sister's surprise wedding. She knew nothing about it. I did all of the planning myself, consulting with her fiance, but they live in New York City and we were in Los Angeles, and the ceremony was held in Los Angeles. So I just want to talk about that. It was such an adventure, but it turned out so great. So I thought it would be, something really fun to debrief on. I put on my nautical stripes to talk about this wedding that I planned that time. I planned a wedding. So 2019 was a busy year, as is every year. I mean, between the activities that I'm involved in and Kofi's job and the stuff that he does and the kids with all of their activities, I'm always really busy. I also always have at least 3 major events per year now because the kids' birthday parties are usually a pretty big planning initiative for me. And then I also plan the annual gala for our sports foundation. A couple years ago, my husband and I co-founded a nonprofit foundation to raise money so that underserved kids can play sports. I have been really excited about it. It's been such a great effort, but I also realized that I more or less signed myself up to coordinate a small wedding every year, which is the gala, the annual fundraising gala. It's a beautiful event. We have had a great time. It's been well attended the first couple of years. It continues to grow. We've raised money to help children all over the world get access to sports. So it's totally an endeavor that's well worth it. But as you can imagine, it's a very time-intensive initiative to host an event like that for a nonprofit where your budget is, kind of extremely constrained. I just wanted to explain that to give a little bit of background to set the scene. In February, I had planned Laya's 10th birthday party. It was the last of her really big birthday parties for my children. Each year we celebrate their birthday in the theme of a different country, and that's a commitment that I made for 10 years. So Laya turned 10 in February 2019, and we had an Egyptian birthday party with probably about 80 people in attendance. It was a very well attended birthday party. It required a pretty significant coordination effort. We had belly dancers and just all kinds of Egyptian themed activities and decorations. So that was really fun. Laya also graduated from elementary school that year, so there was a lot to do in planning the culmination of her elementary experience. And then next thing I know, summer had hit and I was going full throttle towards the annual gala. So my sister became engaged early 2019. She also became pregnant early 2019, so I guess she was just trying to be efficient. Yeah. But she was engaged and expecting. So she called me up and asked me if I'd be willing to host her baby shower in Los Angeles. My sister attended the University of Arizona, and a lot of her friends, her really close friends, are out west. And she's living in New York now with her fiance. So I said, no problem. I love hosting events. I'm more than happy, very excited for my little sister who's going through these major life transitions, and I was excited to be able to do this for her. So that was going to be September September, early September, end of August, early September is when I was planning to do that. And again, all of this kind of matters because we're looking at the timeline. It's like the February birthday party, then the graduation events for my daughter in June, and then the gala that I was hosting in July, and then at the very end of August, the baby shower. So that was kind of the timeline that I was on. And then in September, mid-September is Lincoln's birthday, and he had a great Italian themed birthday that I was also needing to, coordinate in terms of my overall calendar for the year with the planning and the scheduling. So my plan was after the gala to travel with Kofi immediately the next day to Las Vegas. He had a work trip, a speaking engagement, and I just decided I was going to tag along with him. It was going to be the perfect opportunity for me to get some rest and relaxation and recoup from this big event, which, you pretty much plan for 6 months. So I was ready to unwind, decompress, hang out by the pool. I think we stayed at the Wynn, which is a lovely property, and actually we know Kevin Wynn. She's wonderful, fantastic. So we were staying there, hanging out, having a good time, and I got a text message. Okay, so one more time through that timeline. That's February, birthday party for Laya, June, graduation for Laya, July, gala. The plan was September 1st to do the baby shower, and then some point in September also to do Lincoln's birthday party. Never mind the holidays, separate conversation. This is already what my calendar was looking like in 2019. So I get this text message from Joelle, and I just want to go back to my phone. I don't even know if my sister knows this, so shout out Candace if you're watching this, because I don't even know if you know these details, these behind the scenes tidbits about your wedding. So I got a message from Joelle on Sunday, July 21st, which is also Kofi's birthday, coincidentally, and he just kind of throws it out there. Love you, Joelle. I love you for this. Hi Mimi, what if I get married to Candace while I was over there? LOL. Nothing big, obviously, kind of a get together, just a thought. So this was so huge. I didn't even really know how to respond. So, obviously, like I said, I'm preparing for them, planning for the baby shower, expecting that, but this was such a curveball. But it was kind of a great idea at the same time. It was a curveball, but kind of a great idea. So I said, okay, interesting. Let me run it by my parents. You want me to run it by my parents? I'm sure you do. So he's like, yeah, please, just a thought. So I talked to my parents about it, and I'm like, look, I think I can pull this off. He really wanted to do, when I talked to him on the phone and I followed up with him, what was so sweet is he really wanted to do something very special and unique and kind of surprise her, and just really make her feel loved. And she wasn't expecting to have a big wedding ceremony just because of the way things were, the transition they were having in their life, with the baby coming and getting ready to move. Her priorities were in a different place, so she wasn't really expecting to have a major ceremony at this time. It's something that she thought, well, we'll go ahead and we'll have the legal marriage, and then at some later point down the road, we'll try to figure out having a bigger wedding ceremony. And that's a really important point, because all the time people are like, wait a minute, was this kind of like a shotgun wedding? Like, was your sister forced to be married? No. In fact, not only was she engaged already, I insisted that she and my brother-in-law get legally married before they came out here. So that way everybody would know that she definitely wanted to be married and was not being forced. So that's what I told him. I was like, you guys make sure you do all your paperwork, you go and you do your legal wedding, so that way, we know that this is something that, she's not getting cold feet or whatever. There's no kind of like forcing this upon her at all. The marriage itself. The wedding, I guess it's a little, it's a surprise. So I had about 6 weeks to plan this surprise wedding for my sister on top of planning the baby shower. We decided that the wedding was going to happen the day before the baby shower. So we had to concoct a story to make sure that she would have herself together for the event. So I told her that one of Kofi's high profile clients, and I won't say who, but I'll say that it is an athlete who's married to an actress. I told her that they were going to be having a white party and that she would need to get herself together, prepare herself, because everybody who's going to be there, it's going to be fabulous. You know, you need to step off that plane ready, because that evening we were going to the event of the year in Beverly Hills. So my sister is gorgeous anyway, but of course that was the nudge that she needed to make sure that she was flawless, hair done, nails done, lashes, everything. And then I told her I was going to be getting my makeup done, and I really highly recommended my makeup artist. And I told her, you know, I'll get mine done and you should just sit in the chair. She'll already be at my home, and get your makeup done professionally, because this is such a big event. We'll be photographed, and you know, the pictures will live on indefinitely, so you want to make sure that you are to the nines. As far as the coordinating itself, I came up with the idea to do a nautical theme. A really good friend of mine, her son is actually in class with my son, and they're really good friends. She owns a yacht and a catamaran, so she's kind of all into the boating scene on the marina, and I just decided it would be great if we could do this ceremony on a small yacht in Marina del Rey, which is very close to my home, and I would just run with a full-on nautical theme. And that was, apparently it worked out great. So that was a really good idea. The best thing for me, or what helped me with this, was really just having a really strong theme and being able to lean into that in a short time period. It made it much more efficient. So, you know, it kind of boiled down to what are the most important things that you need to have for a wedding. I always say that you should spare no expense when it comes to your photography, because no matter what actually happens at your wedding, if you have a talented photographer, the wedding is going to present beautifully in perpetuity. So I always love to invest in a really good photographer, which we had one who had just worked with us for our annual gala. So I just, called him up again and said, hey, I've got another event in a few weeks. I need you to shoot my sister's wedding. You don't get seasick, do you? I got my pastor to come out and marry them. And I also had a really close friend who really helped me on the back end of the coordinating, pushing the theme forward. My good friend Kat, she was fantastic. And on the day of, she actually had some of her students, she's a high school teacher, she had some of her students who volunteered to come help out and do the balloon arch on the yacht for us. So many people were involved. The number one person who was clutch for me was my assistant. I always talk about the value of having a personal assistant. I would not be able to execute on the multiple events that I do every year and function in my life and do the other things that we have going on without her. I have a whole video about the benefits of hiring a personal assistant. I think it's life-changing, game-changing, so I highly recommend that. And she really came through for us on this event, this big and very important event. There were definitely a couple of funny things that almost gave us away in the time period. So the particular couple that I had told my sister was hosting this party, they were showing images of themselves on vacation, I think like in Saint-Tropez, like the day before or something like that. So my sister was, definitely, she said she was confused about, why they had these pictures posted across the world if they were supposed to be hosting a party. But she's like, I thought, well, I guess maybe it's still gonna happen. Maybe these pictures are older, or whatever the case was. So that was one thing that was almost like a little bit of a disruptor. The next thing was I needed to get out of the house and start the setup at the yacht with the crew. So I had my makeup done, and then what I told my sister was that the dress that I was going to wear to the event, something had gone wrong with the zipper. So I was on the phone calling my tailor, seeing if they could see me in an emergency and repair the zipper. So I just made the case that I was going to have to dart out, drive over to the tailor, get the zipper repaired, and I would just meet them at the party. I was going to have to drive separately. They all could just drive together, and I would catch up with them because obviously my dress was compromised and I needed to have that fixed. So that's how I got out of the house. When I got out of the house, I met my parents and the crew there, and actually Joelle's mom and aunt were also there to help out, which was so nice. We got a chance to meet them and kind of got thrown full throttle into the prep, decorating the boat. We had an awesome captain for our trip, and he was just so fun and friendly and really excited about the whole thing. So it was a really good vibe and setup. Definitely it was a crunch for time, and you always feel a bit intense in moments like that, but I'm experienced with event planning, and then at the end of the day I'm an athlete and I kind of, thrive off a little bit of pressure. I like to perform under pressure. So I was, in the thick of it, back and forth, trying to get things together, trying to get things set up, getting the cake in, getting the flowers, getting all this stuff set up. And I told Kofi, give me a call before you guys actually come because I'm going to let you know when we're ready. So Kofi was in the car with the kids and with my sister and with her fiance, Joelle. And I told him, we're not ready. You need to stall. So it was hilarious because he ended up going into the Ralph's that was very close, basically the Ralph's that's adjacent to the marina. If you're familiar with this area at all, Marina Del Rey, there's a Ralph's right there. And for some reason, my dad had wandered away from the boat and into that Ralph's. And my dad in his tuxedo, or in his suit, I'm sorry, was in that Ralph's and ran into Kofi in the aisle. Thankfully, Joelle and my sister Candace and the kids were in the car, and he only ran into Kofi because there's no reason my dad would be dressed in a suit at that Ralph's on our side of town. My parents live in Woodland Hills, we live in Playa Vista. It would have been a dead giveaway that something was up. So the surprise was nearly ruined. I don't even know how I lost track of my dad. He just wandered off. And Kofi calls me and he's like, I just ran into your dad at Ralph's. What's going on? It was clear that I wasn't running a tight ship, literally. Some of my people were escaping. So what's so funny too is the next thing is Kofi needed to stall some more because we still weren't ready with everything. So he gets in the car and he just jumps on the freeway and starts driving around. And my sister has been out to visit me over the years several times, but she doesn't have a firm lay of the land. And she's like, wow, this is taking a long time to get to Marina Del Rey. You can walk to Marina Del Rey from our house. It's about a mile. It's about a mile walk. So she was a little bit confused as to why they were getting on the freeway, taking all these exits, and Kofi basically just made a loop. But before he could even answer or offer an explanation, she kind of answered it herself. She's like, oh, or is it the other side of the marina? And he's like, yeah, it's the other side. It's the other side. Oh my God. So finally, I gave Kofi the cue that we were ready. And Laya had actually come up with the best plan, which was to play the Jagged Edge song, Let's Get Married, that meet me at the altar. I can't sing, but you know what I'm talking about. Play the Jagged Edge song, Let's Get Married. That whole meet me at the altar in your white dress, totally appropriate. So they finally arrived, they parked, they're walking towards the dock. We've got the photographer taking pictures. My sister at this point is still assuming that it's a photographer for the event. She still thinks that it's, if we're going to the marina, it must be an event on a yacht for this famous couple. She didn't realize y'all are the famous couple, y'all are the VIPs tonight. And the most priceless moment was when she walked up and she saw me there. She saw my parents there. She saw Joelle's mom, his aunt, and you can kind of see her face start to change. And I just said to her, welcome to your wedding. Welcome to your wedding. And she just, it's
closed in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to your wedding.
Your wedding!
It was just so beautiful. And all of the energy, effort, stress that I had been through to put that wedding together was totally worth it in those moments. in that moment, those tears were like diamonds to me, to see her happiness. And we went on to have such a great, beautiful event, and it's a memory that our family will really cherish for a really long time. Just, you know, so if you're on a short timetable looking to plan a surprise wedding on a yacht, hopefully this is helpful. And although the ceremony that we had was very intimate and very private, the next day we had the baby shower planned. So we were able to carry forth the celebrations and use the baby shower as sort of a reception with all of our friends and all of our family. And so it was just kind of perfect. It was perfect. We had a really special, exclusive, you know, unique event for her and Joelle to really focus on celebration of their love and the imminent arrival of my niece, my beautiful niece Luna. And we also were gonna be able to celebrate the merging of our families in this intimate event. And then the next day we had, you know, an opportunity to celebrate the entire thing, like I said, with a lot of friends and family. I think we probably had close to 40 or 50 people at the house for that. So it ended up being perfection. I'd do it again. I'd do it again 50 times over. Yeah, and I just want to throw out a challenge to my sister to see if she might post any content about this for her, to see how it went down from her perspective. So I hope this has been a really fun video for you. We've certainly enjoyed it. I know that this wedding actually was picked up by some other sites. I think like Millennial Wifehood or a couple of other places have shared it because it was a little bit off the beaten path and unusual, not your traditional wedding story. But thanks so much for watching. I look forward to checking back in soon.